Hello there, and welcome again to the France Buying Guys YouTube presentation. Well, I'm speaking to you from extremely warm south of France. The temperature the last few days has been well into the late 30s, and the sun is shining. It's absolutely lovely down here. Just a few tips this week on points to beware of when looking for property in France. It's a process that's pretty straightforward and certainly safe, but I've always found that shared experiences count for a great deal. And here are just a few tips from what I've learned from buying two properties now in France. Firstly, a little homework at the start will save you a lot of time and give you confidence and allow you really to achieve what you're looking for. Read as much as you possibly can about each area. They all have their own different characteristics. France is a large country, and you need to be sure you know what you're buying before you commit yourself to a purchase. You could do worse than getting yourself a copy of my France Buying Guide. It covers all aspects of both the purchase situation in France and all the information you'll need once you're here. Remember next that house hunting is quite hard work, even though it's quite enjoyable too. It took me, I think, at least 3 trips before I found my first house in France. Don't set your heart on just one property that you might have seen on the internet before you leave. There could well be, and probably will be, many others that will suit you. You really need to go and see for yourself. Next, give yourself enough time. I remember very well when I was first looking, and some of the properties are often situated far from each other. 5 or 6 days really isn't quite enough, and you might find yourself driving very long distances when you're in rural areas. So if you start out not expecting to fall in love with the first property you see, you'll have stood yourself in good stead. Gain as much local knowledge as you can. When I bought my first house, the agent I had then spent a whole day with break for lunch looking at places. She introduced me to some of her family and some of her neighbours. I remember I met a lovely couple who are still friends to this day. And following on from that as well, speak French. If you only know a little bit of French, practice it. The French love it when we speak their language, and they love the English accent. My husband says, Mr. Fixit, of course, says he speaks restaurant French, but he's slowly making good progress. So don't be shy. Go ahead and try, and you'll find that French people are largely very sympathetic to our sometimes inability to speak their language. Next, I think this is very important too, when you do purchase your house, do try to get the services of a bilingual solicitor. It's not only to translate the paperwork, but it's so that he can explain to you the French property law. It really is money well spent. Obviously, property buying is a serious business, particularly when you're buying abroad, and you'll want to make sure that everything proceeds smoothly and that you're completely protected. We can help you find a bilingual solicitor if you'd like us to. So do call us or email us. And lastly, really, it's to just go with it and be willing to integrate into the way of life in France. You'll be much happier doing things the French way than trying to recreate life as it was in the UK. Remember the French expression "joie de vivre"? That they invented it. It's well known, and you'll find it in bucket loads in rural France if you're prepared to settle in and do as the other folks do. Well, that's about it for this week. Do continue to send me your comments, your suggestions. If you have any topics you'd like me to include here, let me know. Meanwhile, I leave you with good wishes for your week, and I'll speak to you next week, no doubt still in the sunshine. Bye-bye.